My running journey now spans a period of more than 25 years. And just like anything else that has lasted for more than a quarter of a century, it has seen its ups and it has seen its downs. And in this video, I'm going to take you through the 5 phases of my running journey, taking you through those ups and downs, and hopefully you may learn something that you can take away and implement into your running. So without further ado, let's get into phase number 1.
So John, how did it all begin?
Well, like many people growing up in the 1970s and 80s, we were made to do lots of running at school. But to be honest, I really didn't like it and I wasn't any good at it. I was actually reasonably active as a kid. We didn't have a car, so I used to cycle everywhere, played lots of football and cricket, but by the age of 29, all that had gone. I was 14.5 stone and desperately in need of doing some exercise and losing some weight.
So what did you decide to do about it?
I started a mixture of swimming, cycling and running. Then a friend suggested we do a local 10k. I jumped into the Barnsley 10k, 1999, and after just a few weeks running training, managed a time of 53 minutes and 18 seconds.
Not a bad time, that. So where did you go from there?
Well, where I went on from there, I entered a few more 10ks, got my time down to 42 minutes, but then thought I need to find out a bit more about this running. And in those days, the way you did that was by joining a running club. So I joined Barnsley AC, and between about 2002 and 2012, that's between the ages of 32 and 42, they were my best running years. Those of you having your best running years now, just savour every moment.
So I guess that's when you set all your PBs?
I did indeed, and like any good runner, I can remember them all, and I'll put them up on the screen here just for a while so you can have a look at them. I think looking at those, the strongest are the 10k and the half marathon. And remember folks, this is the days before super shoes, bicarb, ketone IQ and a host of modern scientific developments. I sometimes wonder what I would have run had my peak been in the modern era.
So apart from joining the club, what else did you do that contributed to those best years?
Well, I wasn't dissed in any club. In fact, there were 3 clubs I was in that all had brilliant coaches and a fantastic ethos and provided encouragement and opportunities to run on the road, on the track and on cross country. Barnsley AC, Holmfirth Harriers and Bournemouth AC. So the choice of clubs at that point was also important. But principles of my own running, high mileage. My sweet spot I found was 85 to 90 miles a week, which is about 10 to 11 hours of running. I was around keen, knowledgeable runners and in clubs with fantastic coaches too, so I learnt a lot from them. I also had a period where I was coached online by a man called John Walsh, and he was a fantastic original thinker about running, and he helped get my marathon time down from around 2:50 down to 2:42. I also really enjoyed racing. I enjoyed competition, as I said. Road was my main favourite race surface, but I also enjoyed taking part in track and field competitions and also cross-country races.
So although those were your best years, is there anything you would have done differently in retrospect?
Yeah, I did 0 strength and conditioning. I just thought the way to getting better at running was to run more, and if you wanted to get even better, you ran even more. Fortunately, it was a period where I just had 1 significant injury and I bounced back quite quickly from that, so strength, conditioning, mobility, I really didn't pay any heed to. Also, what I would have done differently, I got on the treadmill almost, not a literal treadmill, a metaphorical one, of going for spring marathon, autumn marathon, spring marathon, autumn marathon, trying to get that marathon time down under 2:40, which I never did. And in retrospect, I wish I'd have gone in for different phases of training, targeting different race distances for that alternative stimulus. So those are the 2 things I would have done differently in that period between being 32 and 42.
So did your coach never advise you to switch your focus from the marathon to shorter distance for a period of time?
He was the sort of coach where runners would come saying, I want to achieve X, and he would support them to achieve X. As I say, he was coaching about 20 people on a private online forum group. So I don't think he had sort of the capacity to go in for individual goal setting. He's very much responsive to what the athletes wanted.
So we could say you hit your early 40s in pretty good shape.
Yeah, London Marathon 2011, aged 41, I ran a 2:45. I ran a 2:42 at the Hull Marathon the year after, age 42, although that was the not quite marathon. And yeah, I was all set fair for a very strong period in my vet 40s, but sadly that didn't happen.
Why was that?
Right, I think I changed jobs. I'd gone from being in my peak period, I was a teacher in a school, so I had a reasonably active job, not massively strenuous, but on my feet most of the day. I then switched to a job where there's lots of commuting, lots of sitting in meetings, and because of the lack of strength and conditioning historically, I really didn't pick up on that for a very long time. I would get niggles which would turn into injuries. I did the right thing in seeking advice from excellent physios and chiropractors. I even more did the right thing in implementing their advice for about 3 weeks at a time. When the niggle and injury went away, then I thought, oh, hey, it's 2004 all over again. All I need to do is train more, run more, and I'll get my fitness back. It was, if I may say, a case of training harder, but not smarter, which you can get away with for some time when you're younger. But I think when you get to your 40s and 50s and beyond, you have to think smart as well as hard.
Can I say, isn't this a period where you didn't actually have a coach?
No, I didn't have a coach, and the more I got injured, the more my times dropped off, the more despondent I've become. And I must say, by the end of the decade, in my late 40s, I almost thought my running days are over. I've burnt my matches, I spilt my beans, and that's it, and it's never going to come back.
So do you think if you'd had one of the coaches that you'd had in previous years during this period, that it might have made a little bit of a difference to you?
I think so, because I would have picked up on the complete lack of strength and conditioning. As I say, the physio I went to and the chiropractor I went to picked up on it, but I never followed anything through. I was very much reactive. I just wanted to get back to running 80-mile weeks and running 17 minutes, say, for 5K, 36 minutes for 10K. But I just got into a negative spiral of trying to come back too quickly, too soon, not doing enough of the right things and doing too many of the wrong things. So also in that period, the diet went out the window. In my peak period, I've been quite good with the right mix of carbs and protein. As my running got slower and slower, I thought, what's the point? More chocolate, crisps, cakes, etc. And I actually put on quite a lot of weight. So I went from about 10 stone 4 at my peak down to, I think, about 13 stone. So I was heading in the wrong direction.
But the last 2 years for you have been somewhat of a resurrection. So what happened there then?
In fact, yeah, there have been a resurrection, because the other day we did the Weymouth Winter Park Run, and looking back on New Year's Eve 2022 we did it, I think I just managed to break 30 minutes. The other day I was disappointed not to break 20 minutes, so I've come back quite a long way. What have I done? I have paid heed to the strength and conditioning aspects and the mobility aspects of my running. I'm still keeping in the element of the consistency that I had between the ages of 32 and 42. I've not missed a day of running for nearly 2 years. I still now dial into the diet, make good healthy choices, I'd say about 95% of the time. As I mentioned before on this channel, quit alcohol a couple of years ago for health reasons. So yeah, things are looking up, times are coming down. I've also got out of the negative mindset, surrounded myself with positive people. So a couple of years ago, now we started this YouTube channel. The response has been amazing. We really value every comment you make, every like you give us, every subscription. People come up to us at races and park runs and say how much they enjoy watching us or pick up on something we've said. So I think that's been a massive part of it too. We have an enormous running community around us, which we feel very lucky, very privileged to have. Walking along the very special Chesil Beach is a fantastic place to reflect on where I've gone and where I'm going. So also in the last 2 years, both Dawn and I have undertaken coaching qualifications through England Athletics. I am a qualified coach in running fitness, and being able to take some runners under my wing and coach and guide them towards their running goals is another thing that has massively motivated me in the running space. Talking to athletes, writing their plans, and generally help guiding them towards their goals has been a massive motivator for me in my own running too. So thanks to those people who have had me support their own running journey. Having worked in education for over 3 decades, I know that 1, you never stop learning, and 2, there's always ways that you can help other people learn too. And if you are interested in becoming one of my coached athletes, and I'll put an email address on the screen now you can contact me on, and there's further details in the programme description below. So I'm particularly keen to hear from runners who maybe have hit a plateau, or want that accountability, or want somebody to help them reflect on the way they're running, tweaks that can be made to help them get the best out of themselves, like I benefited from those coaches during my peak period too.
So that's the resurrected John, happy in his running, learning new things and coaching people. So what's next?
What's next is he's going to tell you, because he seems to know. Now what's next is I'm going to continue developing my running knowledge. Yeah. Like with my running, I wanted to be the best runner I can. With my coaching, I want to be the best coach that I can be. As far as my own running is concerned, that's right. As far as my own running is concerned, I'd love to get back under 19 minutes for 5k. Now I'm reaching the male 55 category. Under 39 minutes for 10k. Bit of a way off at the minute, but I think they're realistic goals, and I'm never going to stop trying. As we say on this channel, I'm going to keep on keeping on. So if you're interested in watching my own personal running development, then please subscribe to the channel. So until next time, keep on keeping on.
Keep on keeping on.